Hello there, my name is Jeff, and I'm here making I don't even know if it's a vlog or something along those lines, but I'm gonna talk about my trip to PAX East 2015. This was my third PAX East that I've been to. The first year I had gone for one day, which was a nice little introduction on how to do PAX. The second year we did 3 days, and this year we also did 3 days, but the past 2 years I was really into League of Legends. This year Riot Games wasn't there, and I found I was able to go and check out a lot more things that PAX offered. Like, this year was the first year I went to the board game area, tabletop area. I'd never been there in the 2 previous years that I'd been to PAX. I'd never gone to the tabletop area, and I went with 2 of my friends. We looked at all different kinds of games and stuff like that. And because of I wasn't so distracted by League of Legends, I was able to also walk through the indie area a lot more and check out a lot more games. I picked up a lot of business cards, a lot of whatever they had to offer advertising their game. I do have to say that this year I noticed that there was a lot of people. Mainly, I'd say the peak was probably Saturday. I don't know if I ever got video of it, maybe because it was so packed. I remember going down an escalator onto the show floor, and just there was no open space. Any space that was meant for walking around was just shoulder to shoulder people. It was pretty insane. And because of the amount of people that were there, all 3 days in general, some of the booths just seemed impossible to get into. I really wanted to try Overwatch, and Blizzard had their thing just completely dedicated to playing Overwatch. But the line always seemed capped. I was never able to, you can't hover around there because then you're creating traffic, and then the enforcers move you along, which is, they got to do that, otherwise you're going to have traffic jams all over the place. But it's just I wanted to do Overwatch, I wanted to do Final Fantasy XIV, I wanted to maybe even try Oculus Rift, all sorts of other cool booths that companies had there, but you couldn't get in because the lines were just insane. And even then, you'd be waiting 2 hours in that line to do that one thing for maybe 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes even seems like a lot of time compared to what you might be actually doing there. But even you're just waiting so long, and my phone keeps going off behind me. But you're just waiting so long to do something for such a short amount of time. It's just, you could go, instead of waiting in that line for 2 hours, you can go walk through the indie area, and then later, that night, you can go watch. I'm sure there's some videos of stuff that you could watch of that thing you wanted to do and get a similar experience. And also on that note, that how it was so packed and stuff, that getting into panels, you would sometimes have to go scope out the theater maybe an hour and a half beforehand, just to see when is the queue for such and such panel going to open. And it was usually an hour before, but people would always just wait until that instant that the queue would open up for that panel, and you'd end up waiting there a really long time. If you didn't get there an hour beforehand, even if you got there 45 minutes beforehand, sometimes lines would be already capped out for the thing that you wanted to go see. And I know my one friend Kevin went to go see Giant Bomb, I believe it was, and he had to actually stand in the back because of the amount of people that wanted to go see this panel. And he got there, I'm pretty sure he said he got there an hour early. It's just it was ridiculous, the lines for these panels. I mean, the panels that I got to go to were worth it, because unlike the booth thing, you would wait an hour for an hour panel. That's an even exchange, but still, if there was a panel right before that, I went to the Cox and Crendor panel. I waited a long time before that, but that was also because the show floor was kind of overwhelming. But I waited an hour and a half to get to the Cox and Crendor thing. But there was also a panel an hour before that gave you a half-hour window in between the end of that panel and the beginning of Cox and Crendor. The line probably was already capped at that point, and I wouldn't have been able to get into Cox and Crendor. That was the one preferenced over the other one, but it was kind of silly. And as a final note, still on this too many people thing, going in the morning, me and my friends would arrive. We would leave the hotel at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we'd get there 8 o'clock, 8:30, because it was about a half-hour drive. We would be directed into a queue line to get onto the show floor, and it seemed that sometimes certain queues were let in before the people who were there first. Like, you'd get there at 8:30, 9 o'clock after you go through bag check and make your way down to the queue room or whatever. And people who came in half hour after you were allowed on the show floor before you, and you had been waiting for a while. There seemed to be a little bit of lack of organization on that part. But overall, I really enjoyed PAX. There was a lot of interesting games, and I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to see a lot more because Riot didn't go. There was a weakness of mine, but I got so many cool games. I got to play so many games. I got to meet so many people, and I can't wait for future PAXs. PAX I something, and yeah, I had a great time.